You celebrate your life. Celebrate the good and the bad, the happy, the sad, the joy and the pain, the sun and the rain. Celebrate life. Celebrate your life with love.
Hello, 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 beloveds, and welcome to another episode of A Spiritual Remedy. My name is Sunshine Daye, and it is indeed a joy to greet you. Wow, here we are at March 2024, and already we got folks popping in. Hey, Nancy, good to have you with us this morning. There is so much that I want to share and talk with you about today as we take a look at our lives. Why I do this show is I do this show because I see a world where clean and sober people, where everyday people are living their best life and loving it. And how they get to live their best life is by incorporating spiritual tools that I get to provide here, spiritual tools and loving support for your transformational life, for your transformation, for your living your best life. And one of the things that I am very keenly aware of. Hello, Michelle. Good to have you with us. Buenos dias, and happy Monday to you, Sunny Day. So glad that you are all watching. One of the things that I want to talk about and touch on today, which may be a little ouch, may be a little bit ouch, and yet because it is a little bit ouch, what I know is that self-awareness usually helps me to grow and unfold in ways that I've never been able to grow and unfold before, because there is an awareness that happens. Now, here's the deal. The deal that I'm talking about today and specifically is this idea that we are undisciplined people. Now, who wants to talk about discipline? I know for me, discipline was a curse word when I was a kid, because I didn't want to I didn't want to be disciplined. I didn't, like my parents would discipline me. Like there's this whole thing around that word, kind of like the word obedient was to me way back in the day as well. Um, but if you take a look at the root word, discipline is about being a disciple, and being a disciple is, someone who follows, right? But what are we following? Are we following what is for our highest and best, or are we following what is not for our highest and best? So let's take a look right now, and let's go ahead and define discipline, right? And so as we take a look at the word discipline, it's the ability to control and regulate oneself in order to achieve a specific goal. So the question then becomes, what are my goals in life? Do I want sobriety? Do I want clean time? Do I want a job? Do I, like how I want to use my time? Do I want to practice yoga and meditation? Like what kind of life do I want? And then what are my goals in living that? But it's also about the ability to control and regulate oneself in order to achieve positive choices. Am I eating healthy? Am I taking care of my body? Am I maintaining a structure and a focused approach to my living, or am I just living by default? And so what does it take? What does it take in order to be disciplined? Well, we'll take a look at that right now as well. What it takes, it involves cultivating habits, behaviors, and routines that contribute to my personal growth and success. So now I get to look at, what are my behaviors? What are my routines? what are the structures and what am I focusing on in life? Because am I living life by default or am I really being on purpose? Right? And hey, right, Wenda, it's so good to have you on the show today. Love of self, right? It takes that idea of love of self in order to cultivate these habits, these behaviors, these practices, this discipline, the attitudes and beliefs necessary, right? In order to achieve positive choices and to make positive choices in life. So, hey, and Michelle says it also takes contrary action to self-destruction. Right. What road am I on? Am I on this road of self-destruction? Am I on the road to nowhere? What am I doing? How am I living my life? And, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. But not but. And here is an additional point that my producer, Reverend Kevin, and I were talking about this morning, and that is that discipline is not about punishment. Discipline is not about punishment. It's not like, I'm being punished. That's why I have to do that. Discipline is about self-control. It's about consistency, and it's about perseverance. It's in the pursuit of what it is that I want to have in my life, right? The pursuit of my objectives, right? So I love what Michelle's saying. Replying to Wenda, I agree, right? And Wenda says, I've lived both lives. And you know what? If I'm going to be honest with you, which I live both lives right now. In some areas, I am way disciplined and I have these habits and these ways of being that lead me toward my goal. And then in other areas, I don't. Nancy says, hey, consistent position, actions, and choices. Absolutely. Because the bottom line is if I must develop the ability to control and regulate myself. I'm over here sometimes trying to control and regulate other people. Isn't that hilarious, right? Trying to control and regulate other people. Now, here I talk about weapons of mass distraction. Now, this is where it's going to get a little bit like ouchy if it hasn't gotten ouchy already. Like, am I disciplined? And what I want to talk about is something that's been coming up a lot, and that is these things, right? These things. Addiction, our modern day addiction. And just like, many of us think that that we might have an addiction to drugs or alcohol or, drama. Um, do you have an addiction to your cell phone? Like, do you find yourself using your cell phone for longer periods than you've intended? And you could type yes or no or whatever. Maybe you don't want to type it in. Maybe this is just some self-reflection. Is your cell phone use interfering with your daily responsibilities and obligations? And some of us might go, no, not yet, or whatever, right? But, have you unsuccessfully tried to cut down on your cell phone usage? I'm only going to stay on for 15 minutes, or I need to check this email. And then next thing you know, you're scrolling endlessly on social media or playing games. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know, right? Do you feel restless and irritable or even discontent when you're not able to use your cell phone? Like when they say no cell phones, please, or in a restaurant when you go out to hang out with your friends, are you are you hanging out with your cell phones, right? Not all the time. I've designated time for my use, which is an actually really good good thing to take a look at. I definitely have an addiction to my device. Yeah, right? I mean, like if we take a look, it's easier to look outward towards other people when I have inner work to do on myself. Isn't that absolutely true? And one of the things that I just kind of want to talk about as we're coming, closer to the end of our time today is like, if you take a look at your cell phone, if you take a look at some of the other things that you may or may not maybe have addiction towards, or that are distracting you from living a disciplined life. Are you excessively reliant on people, places, things, social media? If you find it difficult to go a day without a particular device or a particular thing, has I know for me, I like playing video games, and I try to put myself in a time zone, 15, 20 minutes of playing, on my phone video games, right? Like, do you find that you're empty, or that you feel empty without your devices, or without something in particular? So what I really want to have us look at is what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? How do we begin to live a disciplined life? So first is mindful awareness. Begin cultivating this awareness of your usage, right? Becoming aware and admitting it, and just kind of going, oh yeah, this might be a little bit of an addiction, or it might be a bad habit that I don't want to really get into. And practice mindfulness by paying attention to your thoughts and your emotions when you want to reach for that particular thing, whether it's your cell phone, whether it's drugs or alcohol, whether it's gambling or sex or shopping or going on Amazon and, buying a bunch of stuff. Like, pay attention, like, what is it within me that's happening? Um, or what is it that's distracting me from living my best life? And then intentionally disconnect from that. I'm not going to participate in that for this amount of time. But here's the spiritual practice. As you begin to incorporate spiritual practices into your daily routine, whether it's meditation or prayer, or engaging in activities that align with your personal spiritual beliefs, take time and make time every day. Put it in your calendar every day to reflect on the values, and on whether you're being disciplined. Is what you're engaging in right now, is what I'm doing right now moving me toward my goal, toward positive change, towards where I want to be, or am I on a road somewhere else? Because when you do that and you begin to recognize that your life is the unique, unrepeatable, magnificent, powerful way that spirit shows up in human form, you can begin to live the life that you crave. And you can begin to have a disciplined life. In other words, who's in control of your life? Is it you, or are you living by default and allowing people, places, things, these weapons of mass distraction, to distract you from living your best life? From working out, from interacting with people, from prayer and meditation. Like, you get to move your feet and to be the one in control of your life. Yeah, sometimes we get depressed, or we get filled with anxieties, you know. I love that you say this, Nancy, that there are times where um you feel at peace when you're able to separate from your device. Yeah, going out onto the ocean. I have a friend who has a sailboat, and it's just like, yeah, when I'm able to put my phone down and go out, or just have a digital release day, or do your emails on your computer, right? Or have something for you, and then begin to use prayer and meditation yourself living your best life. If you're interested in a visioning session, a mini visioning session, Reverend Kevin or myself, anyone at Be That Spiritual Learning Center would be happy to lead you through a personal visioning for the ways and the activities necessary to separate yourself from the things that mean you no good. All right, we're coming to the end of our show today. Actually, we went a little bit longer. I want to remind you that let me look at my calendar here. On March the 18th, in 2 weeks, we're going to be moving our time to 1 p.m. And this is just a reminder that we're going to move to 1 p.m. I think that that's going to be a better time for more people. So be sure to tell your friends, your family, anybody you want that the show is moving from 9 a.m. on Mondays to 1 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays starting March 18th. So I'll see you here next week. The other thing that I want to remind you of is that the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz start this month. As a matter of fact, it starts on Wednesday. If you haven't signed up for the 4 Agreements, and this is like beyond addiction, beyond recovery, this is actually a way that you can dedicate yourself to becoming a little more disciplined. And I will incorporate this into our lives on a regular basis. This is going to go for 5 months. We meet once a month, and then we have chats and all kinds of stuff. I so appreciate you, and I want you to know how much I care about you. We're here to be in service and of service to you, whether it's prayer, whatever it is that you need. We are here for your spiritual growth and unfoldment, providing spiritual tools and loving support. All right, beloveds, until the next time, know that you are loved. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in to A Spiritual Remedy. Use the links in the description for prayer requests, to donate to Be That Spiritual Learning Center, and to join our mailing list. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And you can visit us at vidaslc.org for more information.